everyone, back again with another video today, as it's a accumulation effect of my past being a global path and the inability of a reunion person I'm meant to partner with, because it's a soul reunion, in that path, treating me a consistent, degrading human way, but because of my feminine parts. So for whatever reason of this person, Matias destefano, of his history of, well, for one, he's been a gay man, so he really has no excuse with it being a first female relation not to go forward and find out what that means to treat a woman with respect. Because he has done the complete opposite and been such a con artist the whole time. And it's 3 years in 3 weeks' time that he's aware of the attraction that is not leaving the path of ours, is a bigger natured coming together, in which he likes to twist that and lives in a degrading lower consciousness that consistently, and I say consistently like constantly, I am saying no to sex that he likes to have an effect invisibly in my field all the time. So I'm pretty sure there is not a decent woman on this planet that would like an invisible presence wanting to feel them up, be a, like even right now, he just comes in close in the energy field and gives me certain disgusting smells, and it's all of a lower grade function, because firstly he's invisible, and he acts like no one knows that. You only need to know of any authentic spiritual teachers that have an awareness that energy can be focused in movement in the field. And so Matias destefano is absolutely gross in his focus, to the point now that I hate his guts. And he keeps telling himself from whatever he's lived that a woman must, this is how it feels, do as she is requested. When he comes in invasively into my field, he does not listen to no. He ignores my voice completely. He is just persistently fucking gross. Now, because I have this path to reunite with this soul, okay, it don't mean we function the same. And he likes to get into the mind, the functioning. He will find ways to be degrading, disgusting, and whatnot, to make it like you are thinking my way. You want this. So at times it has been this lovely, because that's my frequency, right? Like, life is lovely. Unless you want to go down a dark thought pattern, then life is something else, right? But that's where he takes it once he gets my attention. He doesn't manifest as a so-called spiritualist path. I'm manifesting the path through consistent leeching on dumbass wanting sex. So he must have a mentality that a woman will just, this is her part. Do as you're told. Because he's not once taken me seriously, because for 3 years I've said, this isn't happening consistently. I'm a woman that takes care of herself, and there is no way in the world I'm doing something with a ghost on a daily effing basis. And like I've said before, I take care of myself. So I'll do that when I want. Not because of a jackass. And he likes to think she's finally doing as she's told. So then he has this swelled head perspective and comes at me stronger, like he should have it more. He's really pathetic. So girls, and I hope this gets out there and gets spread, he may be lovely to you, but behind the scenes, he does not treat a woman with any respect. He'll get invasively into my space and he don't give a shit. And like I've said in other videos, he is not short of manipulating anyone to puppeteer his condition. So I had to share this, and there's probably more to come, yet again, because I deal with this a lot off screen, but I have had periods where I'm just like, get it out of me and give it to everyone else, and yous can deal with him. Like someone who's aware of this kind of movement and the intuitive nature of psychic abilities, that him and I have a path, this guy needs to be confronted. And what I mean is, face to face, more than once, what in the hell are you doing, mate? Okay, because we don't stand up for that kind of treatment of women on this planet. 3 years this woman's given you. Women are not to be degraded as sexual fucking objects. If the woman says no, it's no. It's not no for 30 seconds or 1 minute. It's no for as long as she freaking wants. Because you are a lazy fucking invisible slack ass prick. Okay? It's gross. This is a human planet. Act like a human. And like I said 3 years ago, this ain't continuing. I'll see you, human, when you get here. In front of me, physical form. Because he completely ignores that. And it's just like, I hear you, but I'm not. Breakals, spells, cords and connections, electrical magnetic currents of this idiot attached to me, and he does it via light, via movement of energy, via temperature, via just thought movement. Sometimes I really have to get center because he's spinning energy around me, trying to control everything. So, you know, like this does come to an end, right? But not without a ridiculous sleepwalker entity acting as though this is the way life is. And so he hears it, right? But he's still convinced that life is that momentum. Like, you know how you, over a period of time, people sort of, they hear the same messages and they come to an understanding. Oh, gee, that makes sense that I'm a human. That makes sense that there's some kind of path with this woman that I must walk. Right? So if you look at this guy's history, Matias destefano, he's done various spirit-called missions. And so he'll have to go to a destination and he'll have to follow his intuitive guidance and messages and signs, right? Well, with this mission, because it is part of this life experience, because it's me, he's just taking advantage. Which is why I did the video earlier about human will. I want it this way and I'm going to have it this way. And so he's abusing his talent and power and people and life. He don't give a shit about life. And oh yeah, and it appears that he does. And he'll have his business where he shows up and has gatherings and things. But a true spiritual teacher does not do this abuse of power to anyone. So he hears this because he's attached to me. The energy slows down a tiny bit. One would think, like me, oh, he's going to gain some common sense alignment. Heaven, earth, temporary life, walk the human path, causing Teresa discomfort on every level all the time. I should do the right thing, you would think he would say. No. What he does is, I can abuse my power for as long as I want, and you actually think I'm going to take you seriously? That's exactly the energy that comes straight back to me. And for me, who's lived a growth path into undeniable divinity, oneness for everybody. Which is why I can still, right? Which is why I am here. Hold the faith for anybody. You know why? Because our free will, our power of heaven to earth is our choosing. So at any time, he can make the right decision. But this is the slimy nature of the hidden reality of energy on this planet that says, why would I do that when I can just get my way? Well, no one's gonna support it because this is trash mentality. This is not oneness. This is not spiritual teaching. And I have not risen through the decades of my life at 49 to say, oh yeah, sure, you can treat me like a... I'm holding back from the language. You can treat me absolutely arrogantly, etc. I'll just put up with it because my path is just to be your bimbo. That is exactly what he would love. It's unintelligent, disgusting to think that at 49, he still persists with that, with all I've shown him of myself in 3 years, let alone the past 46 before that. He don't care. He can abuse power. He can be gross. He can be an asshole. He can be disgusting. He thinks it's hidden. And it ain't. Because the Akashic Records has got it all. And he will be learning. This is what happens with souls. It's all recorded. So the sneaky endeavors of unconscious idiots in persistence when they could choose kindness. So it's out of my hands. I'm simply saying this is who I am and that is not. And let me tell you, he's tried every angle. Look at me with this woman. Look at me with these women. Look at me at this destination. Look at me at that destination. Look at me, look at me, look at me. In the very small glimpses I've seen on social media. Trust me, I can't handle much for long because the truth is the opposite. So he's a two-faced player mentality. And don't think I'm attracted to that because he does. That's the thing. You know how like men or boys in men's bodies think, I've got this and I've got this and I've got this and you want me. Oh my God, he is taking that way out of hand. He does not know me one bit. I finished with that kind of mentality at maybe like 24, looking into those kind of guys that like, I've got it all. Oh yeah. And you realize they don't. When you sit down and talk to them, they don't. They're like show ponies. And they're still around, obviously. He's one of them. He's like, oh, I'm soaking up this energy. How much pussy can I get out of this? It's gross. But he actually comes to me and I have to keep getting rid of him because he thinks that's how he's going to magnetize or manifest into my life with some freaking glamorous red carpet, you're on my arm kind of thing. You're okay. You've laid down enough for me. Real women ain't going to lay down for this shit. And real women want to be with real men. And real men talk to you to your face, do nice things, ask if they can help, aren't afraid to share who they are without a ginormous friggin' hot airhead. Like, oh, I know this and I'm aware of this. And you can have intelligence. And that makes for the good bedroom. But there's real humans. This guy is just so up himself, and I'm not sure about his history on how women have been treated there or how he has expectations on what a woman should do, but it's so unintelligent, disgusting, victim mentality, like the woman should come to his beck and call all the time. And I'm not joking. That's why I put on the voice. That is all I get from this. Entity, passive, slack. And you know what? He's even shown me, right? And I know when it's him working through other people because of the vibrational mentality. It speaks on another level that you know is not that person's energy. He even brought to my attention slugs and their nature of having sex. They like to slime all over each other and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, this is last year. So that's like the 2.5 years he's been doing this shit. I'm thinking, oh my God, he is still in this gross, slowed down, sex, focused, hidden reality. So let me just get back to one more thing, I think, because I don't want to keep going on about this, but I need to get it off my chest so I can move forward with something in my day. And like it shifts energy, right? You can't keep things in. And so I have faith in oneness because that's what I'm here for. That's the actual shift. So I did not realize that a spiritual teacher, right? And it's too high for him to even call him that. I would call him show pony title with some connection, and he uses it on Earth to look good. But that's just too long as well, so just show pony. I did not realize he would be such a show off, and I thought he would more stand up, that he'd had enough experience with rebirth. So you have to let go and transform. Because I heard these words come out of his mouth when interviewed. And he seemed genuine, willing to do that. But obviously he has this manipulative undercurrent nature that he lets draw into and tries to pull people down to, because it is all fear mentality. It's all, I'm going to destruct, I'm going to create chaos because I want to be seen to be the guiding, shining light of all. So when he spoke to Heart Coherence on YouTube in an interview, I'm not sure when it was because things get posted all the time, exactly when it was, but in April 27, look out if, consciousness isn't doing the work, ask consciousness, because of the god of chaos, Greek god of chaos, whatever his name is, for April 2027. And so I listened to this interview for not even half of it, and I'm thinking to myself, so what are you actually doing apart from telling people there is light and shadow? And this is where I could see his and I reunion actually having a good effect, because in that moment I thought to myself, you're meant to be speaking to the higher nature of it, not just claiming that, this could happen and I'm doing gatherings or whatever. There needs to be more. Because it's like, why talk about, like on an interview I was watching this morning, a meeting, and the focus was, the question was focused on why aren't you telling us more? Why do we have to ask questions to find out more? Well, of course you got to ask questions to find out more, okay? Because no one in the spirit realm assisting us and us channeling through are going to do our work. So if we got questions about life and things going on and things in the background and why is this happening, you got to ask. So don't just say, oh, so much dark stuff is happening and why aren't you filling the gaps for us? Because you're like saying, tell me everything I need to know, and not I'll find out my part in it and grow. So that's what I mean by, we can talk about the dark force, right? Because we've got to have dark and light to create the contrast. I don't like that, I want to create that. And that's about as much you need to focus on it. Once you start focusing on this could happen, and you can say it, but you don't want to put, like the media does, all about it. So there's this light nature uprising of us, and the education is, what more do I have to offer? So if someone's going to ask a question as to why aren't you giving us all the answers, well, why aren't you asking the questions? Are you doing your spiritual work? Okay, people have to be accountable for themselves. You can't just go, this could happen and this is happening, and and talking about particular things because you're giving more attention to those particular things. So it's kind of sneakily obvious in a way. In the background, things are trying to come to the forefront in front of light workers. So what I mean by that is there may be people who look like light workers, but just be careful of any thoughts to give too much attention to the opposite of where you're going. Okay, so where we're going is how do we offer more light? And yes, be aware of that. So talk a little bit about it, but always the real nature of it is how do we rise up from our guts more through our chest, and in that very unknown nature of what we can bring forward is that flame movement of us that needs us to speak. Okay, because it is that self-esteem, self-confidence, self-growth calling us forward. It's growth. Okay, so these people that think I've transformed enough and this life has hurt me enough and I'm just going to go around hurting others and taking from others. Well, you can try, and light workers, beware, and always stick true to your consistency of earth running through you to the heavens. Heavens helping guide you whilst on earth. Okay? Don't start giving in to thoughts of there ain't anything else. Because that's the focus that some will try and get your attention on, so that you will give them your attention because they want you to think they've got all the answers. All right, but they have some answers about life. They have some help, yes, but just make sure it's, like I was saying in a video this morning, that they're not actually wanting your attention on them for their growth. Okay, because it's gone so far as they think that attention on them is their growth, as in popularity and mass. But what everyone's growth is people are listening to me for my authenticity. I have to keep true to this. True to this, not hidden agendas because I've got the attention. I've got to keep true to this. Everyone's got an ego. It can jump up and mask in front because people like a bit of light on them, right? But when that light hits you of other people's energy, you give it the most respect, all right? Because we're not here to fuck around. If you're not staying true, like a real truthful vein to this earth, that I am so pleased people are listening to me. I truly respect my divinity guiding me. It is not me, this human, that should start to enforce a mask that it's hard work. Because true spiritual messengers don't need to keep or upkeep a permanent attachment because they know that energy is attraction. So whoever you've come to earth to be, like grow into as your soul, okay, because we have soul blueprints and you can look into that and ask questions and expand your awareness and knowledge and grow in wisdom of this. There is no lock and key to information. It's just whether you trust it at your gut response and don't give your power away with the old mentality that there are particular people with particular connections to particular gods and you must run to them for help. Okay? No. We can all go with ease and peace, respect each other, stay true when people give us their attention, and not lie or not do things to provoke more coming to you. Just breathe and trust. Okay? Now, if and you can trust that, seriously. If you're doing what you're meant to do, have all faith in your feelings of that. I enjoy this. I like it when people listen. I love interacting with others I like to listen to. Like, there is just this attraction that happens. And we need to remind the youth of this as well, like from 16 and up, because this is where it can go wrong with like ego enforcement of make enough money. And then, you know, you got all the cost of living stuff going on as well. So there's a suffering mentality and make more money, and you can get mixed up in this. And then we have the nature rising out of that that can be sneaky, destructive, wanting more for themselves, keeping more for themselves mentality. And there is just no growth there. And it rots the branches, it rots the tree, so it doesn't branch out. Because look at it, it's lower vibration. All right, it's not the truth. So I always emphasize, do your research. I fell in love with research of anything and everything that that spoke on a spiritual, physical nature. Like, what's out there in spiritual education that I don't have to go to a church for? So that's one thing to look into. And then you look at what spiritual teachers are talking about, and you will be inquisitive. So your soul is getting to know more of itself and what you're drawn to. Okay? Because that's, you know, like the chakras. Look into any information and all information and how each of them, just everything works together for our growth. So we don't stop at the physical and keep ourselves down here in what we've got in the physical, but with the higher functioning, we don't have so much focus on the physical, and we actually open up the tree of us, the tree of life, and not so much focus on the trunk and all what I just mentioned before. And that's the truth. So divinity is always trying to guide us to open up our tree, our branches. I think I've covered that, and I'm around the 33rd minute again, which is pretty cool energetically. Thanks for letting me get that out. Keep true to yourself. Keep raising your consciousness, your mental, emotional vibration. Focus on things that do make you feel good and don't feel bad about it. Because if your energy is functioning in a higher vibration, you won't look to lower forms of communication. And that's what life wants us to do. Okay? Because we're not here forever, and we can, and we need to trust and have faith in the truth for our good and best impact. So you can see how I've just gone full circle to talk about how I look at the way I'm treated, but this is who I really am. Unmistakably. Okay? I'm not going to be treated lesser than the whole true self. And so I don't want to talk much more about this, because his lower vibrational ideas, mental functioning, emotional belief, hidden nature of reality and control and manipulation and just getting off in the background and he should have it his way is just gross, right? But he calls that the soul contract. That's the ridiculous nature of it, okay? What the soul contract is, as you can see, the raising in consciousness all the way up and not behaving in the lower three. Because this is not higher consciousness, his behavior. He's trying to tell me to give him a feel good. And trust me, 3 years. You don't tell someone, give me a feel good. I'm not going to give you my heart, my presence, my any kind of presence in consciousness, speaking to you and sharing life and opening myself up to this experience. No, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to act like an unconscious sleazeball hidden in the dark and I'm just going to want one thing all the time. Yeah, that's not the contract. The opening up is to help on the planet. Okay? I thought to myself, 3 months, surely, 3 months. Like, because 1.5 months, and then I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm just not doing this social media relation. I'll see you when you get here. And then 3 years. So any discrepancies that he has with that, I'll see him when he gets here. And I'll be back if it all gets too much again, because I was just relaxing, watching a higher consciousness live interview meeting, and with Sounds True, with Tammy and Lee Harris and the Z's, and I was loving it. And I have his energy coming in, taking over me, telling me what I want. I don't want an invisible presence. And I don't want his gross antics, and he's still doing it right now. So I'm going to try and get this video out. I don't know where, but as much as possible, because it's actually just disgusting. Any minute of my day that I'm still aware of this, and he just wants to be like, oh, just give it, just relax into it, just... That's what it is. It's been that for 3 years. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.